Ferguson, class of 2010 Leadership Morgan Hill, and today we're going to be interviewing Yoshie Yokoi. Welcome, Mrs. Yokoi. Thank you for joining us. Can you just tell us your full name to get us started?
My full name is Yoshie Yokoi.
No middle name?
No middle name. Never got one issued.
Okay.
So,
how long have you lived in Morgan Hill, Mrs. Yokoi?
we came back in December of 1945, right after the war ended. I was way out in Winnetka, Chicago. My friend gave me a job over there as a house worker because I graduated high school, but I worked a half a year for an accountant at the camp. They paid us how much? We got $12 a month, and the doctors and the attorneys and them got the 19.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, they wanted us to leave because they wanted the war was ending and they wanted to close the camps up.
So when you say camp,
internment.
you mean an internment camp, and this was during World War II.
Yes. So anyway, we came back from Chicago in December. Yeah. So I didn't quite stay a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start back at your youth then. Where were you born?
Salinas,
Salinas?
California.
And where are your parents from?
Japan,
What part of Japan?
Hiroshima.
Okay. And
That's all I know, really.
so your parents are from Hiroshima. Do you know when they came over to the United States?
My father, I saw his, he came in 1924, I think it was.
Okay.
I think it was maybe 1 or 2 years off, but I just can't forget. But anyway, it was in the 20s, early 20s. So I think my sister was born first, and she was born in 1924. So I think it was, oh no, then it had to be earlier, maybe, huh? 22.
Did your parents meet here in the United States, or did they
No,
come together from Japan?
No, he was here working, and they were sending, people, wives, just sending them. That's how they did it then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if they got what is it, the passport to get to come to over here. Yeah, so there were a lot of them just like that.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't really know each other.
And what year were you born in Salinas?
I was born in 1926, July the 7th.
What was your youth like in Salinas?
Well, I was just an ordinary kid as far as I remember. We didn't do anything really exciting all the time, but see, my parents didn't speak English, so they worked in the agricultural business, and so then we just played around, but we didn't have a car or anything to really run around in, so it was not it was okay. We didn't know anymore. We're happy. I had a sister already, so it was fun.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And so you attended grammar school?
Grammar school. Well, then we came to Gilroy. My father came to work for the Hirosaki farms. They were a big ranch, and so then I went to kindergarten there, and then we moved to San Martin for a little bit, and my dad was working, for wherever the job was. So, yeah. So we weren't rich, but at least he worked enough for us to live. There was no welfare.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And you grew up in Salinas, you moved to Gilroy for some time, San Martin.
And then it got to be in the 30s, and the Driscolls was running a big acreage of strawberries, and it was a half share. And so then we were working with him, and we were doing all right. And then the war started, and so then they said, you have to go, they're going to send you somewhere. We had no idea where we were going to go, but they said you can take one suitcase apiece to go to this place that we didn't know where we were going. But anyway.
So how did that come about? Who came and told you that the war had started, you were going to be interned?
When they decided, when the California, what was that that man's name? He was not the governor, but anyway, he told everybody that, that anybody Japanese that have to move away from the West Coast, so that we had to go into the Salinas rodeo grounds as an assembly center, and so then after that, that happened in February, and so then we couldn't go to school once we got in the rodeo grounds. No bus came to pick us up, and too far from the high school.
And how old were you?
I was a sophomore student.
Oh, wow.
So that year I didn't finish, but then by July we went into internment camp. So it was a long period, but.
So where were you sent?
Sent to Poston, Arizona. It was at let's see, what was that name of the town there? That can't remember that. It's near the Colorado River, so we were there, and we got stuck with a bunch of Imperial Valley people who had to be moved, and that was a far corner. And everybody from our group went to a second camp where it was all from the same area. But we learned, we met a lot of new people, and we still know some of them. And,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
What was the experience like for you being at the internment camp? And
well, I was only 14 when I went in, so we weren't, you didn't have anything to do but go to school at that age, and then I didn't get a job until I got out of high school. But we were keeping ourselves busy.
You guys attended school within the camp?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I had a couple of books my work put into a couple of books of, camp. What do you call that teacher? He's not the social science, but anyway, he got us to write things, and it turned out that he took 2 of my articles, and my friend got 1 put in, and it was about the really dark dust storm that we, had happened just right after we got in. Our barracks were not even, the walls that were not, they're not all together, and that they covered it with tar paper eventually, but boy, we had to really go and stay inside the barracks and cover our noses, because it came like the whole place became a dark place, like nighttime. Oh, wow. It was a really, that's the worst that we, had to go through ever since we were there. I was there about 3 years. They wanted us to get out.
Wow. How was the heat in Arizona?
And Salinas, it's cool, but over there, it was always hot in the summertime, and it was not easy.
Wow.
No air conditioners or anything. But
did you meet your husband in the camp? Or
no,
was
he was
after?
He was in the war already. He was
in the war?
He went in the war before the December 7th thing, so he was over there in Europe fighting. And then he, when the war came to, well, he was in France, and he was going to go to the place where they were going to save the Texas people that got, all they were being the what? Well, I guess that's what they called them. They were Texas people, and they still. He was not. He didn't make that though. In France, he was fighting, and his knee got blown off, the right knee. So they took him in. He was on a tank, so he was bobbing up and down, and his leg, was hanging. So that the first doctor said that they were gonna have to amputate his leg, and another surgeon came and said, no, this man's not gonna lose his leg. So they put it together, and until he was 89, he kept it, and the doctors at the Kaiser Hospital said that they did a good job. It was really sturdy, yeah.
Do you remember what unit? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The 442nd, he was.
Is that the famous unit of the Japanese American fighters? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh, he didn't make it to do that other big job, saving the Texas people. They invite those group that made it. We have a couple of people who were in that one, so they get invited to Texas once a year, and they have, they treat them very nicely. Still, they do, yeah. No, he was on another hill in France. That's we went on a trip one time in 1980, and we went to see that place and went to the church, and they treated us regally. And they have a monument in town, and then we went to the Black Forest and saw the other cemetery that they have for the boys in France. So that was a nice trip, and that was good. But
so you got to see where your husband fought?
Yes, where he fought and lost his leg and all that kind of stuff.
What was that experience like for him to go back and see where he had fought?
Well, I guess it's something that happened. No, he didn't make a big deal out of it, that it was just something that happened during the war, he says. So, but he had lost his knee, but I mean, didn't lose his knee. It's not one knee is lost, but yeah, he was doing everything. He doesn't let anybody else have to do it unless it was, he was short, so then he, if he can't reach something, he'll ask, or get a ladder.
Now, for you and your parents and maybe your siblings and people that you know who were interned during the war, what were your feelings toward the United States during that time?
Well, I was only 14, and I had no, at least we were safe. And, you get about a room this big for well, the family of four. If you're a bigger family, you get two of those rooms, you know, and you get.
And this is not a big room.
No, this is about it. You get a little for the winter. You get a little one of those pot belly fire things. But other than that, you know, it was different. But we lived through it. You know.
And nobody harbored resentment for having had to go through that?
Well, we had some people who didn't like it because we got put in, but we didn't, you know, we were young and I didn't join in and all that stuff. Okay. Our block was pretty good.
And what about land? Did you or anybody you know have their land taken away while they were gone?
I don't know about taken away, but they had a lot of friends in this Santa Clara County that they had Italian friends and people who watched their land and took care of it. You know, they used it probably while they were gone, but they kept it for them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but we didn't have any land, I mean, any property or anything to worry about. So, you know, we just went. They came to pick us up. I don't know what he did with the car. I think we didn't sell it. He just left it there, and somebody probably just got it. But so we just left everything in the house as it was.
Everything you owned?
Everything we owned, right. All you could do is take your clothes. That's in one suitcase. So, you know, but we you know, we were okay. We made it, and we don't, you know, we came out and we didn't have much, but we worked our way up, and you know, so I think we did all right.
Okay. So you get out of the internment camp at age 17. Is that about what age you were?
No, yes, it must have been 17 because I wasn't quite 18 then. So we took a train for one of the friends in the same block. She wanted to go out too. She had somebody over there in Chicago. But I went to Winnetka where my friend had, she had a job, and she said her boss said she has a friend that wanted somebody else to come out and help her. So then I came and did housework over there. And I didn't do anything like that before. But they kept me, and then we just, you know.
Then when did you make your way to Morgan Hill?
Oh, that was, gee, I don't remember the correct date, but it was end of December. End of December we came back, and
of what year?
Of that was 1945. Okay. Yeah.
And did you come out? Were you with your parents at this time, or were you on your own?
No, the parents stayed there, and then in the camp, and then Mr. Driscoll said one of the big foremen that he had, he told us that we were with him before, so that if you wanted to come back to California, that he was going to. That's why we're staying here in Morgan Hill. That's where he came. My mother and father and my sister came back, and they were going to raise strawberries. So then. And then, you know, if you make like, I think it was $12 a month that we made, you know, you can't save a lot of money. So anyway, he said that, you know, until you come and start raising the berries so that they are producing to sell, then he will loan us money, whatever we need, and provided the living. It's not fancy, but it was a house. And so then that it helped at least. We had a place to go to.
So he helped your parents get back on their feet.
Right.
Wow. Did he do that for a lot of Japanese Americans?
Oh yes. We had one camp in Rugi Ranch, which was on, and from here it's which is that one is you know the way it's called that one that and extends from the place we went to today. You know that. Yeah, it's that.
You're on camera. You're on the spot.
But let's see. It's out on the east side, I guess, of Morgan Hill, and then Tennant. No, that's not Tennant. Cochrane Road, way out toward, not quite to the dam. That Rugi Ranch right now, they got all nice houses. That was all berries. And ours was a Fitz Ranch on the Monterey Road, which is, you know, and so they had another ranch too later. So he did berries there a long time, you know, so that's what we did.
Okay. And then when did you meet your husband?
Well, we knew each other before he went to war. Okay. So yeah, then he came back here, and then he got a job with his you know leg. He was disabled is what they considered him. So anyway, the lady that ran the husband ran the Disco's ranch, and she said that she'd send him to school to become an accountant, but he says, you know, that he just didn't have time to go to school when he's got children and stuff. So yeah. So anyway, he came back and then he got the job and he worked there for 50 years.
50 years with Driscoll.
For one of them, the sons took over because he died in between. You know, the boss did.
And this is the same Driscolls
Wife,
that your
right?
parents worked
His
for?
wife is named. We named her after the wife. What?
Oh, is that right? You named your
Oh,
daughter?
she was so good to him. She just, but he worked hard and he was very accurate. So.
So your husband worked at for the same Driscolls that your parents worked for?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Although we were the one that were, the workers in the ranch, but he worked in the office all the time. With one leg bad. But he ran the tractor for us and stuff like that.
Okay. And where was the Driscoll land that they farmed?
It was, like I say, it's on Cochrane Road.
Oh, it was all this over here?
Yes,
okay.
there, and then there, and then he had a lot of different places. He even had some in Gilroy.
Okay.
Yeah, but they weren't very big.
Okay. So your experience here in Morgan Hill, do you remember what things cost back when you first got here? Maybe cars, houses?
Oh, yes. He bought a car. He bought an Oldsmobile at that time, and it was like $3,000.
New?
New. But, it was, and it was really fancy for that time.
Yeah. Now let's talk about what you did for a living, because I know you worked as well, right?
Oh, yes. No, I helped on the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my sister and I and family, mother and father, we all had to do our own acres.
Okay.
Like 3 acres or something like that. Everybody had. There's some varieties of the berries too. So then we get a little bit of it here and a little bit here, and it's a big land over there. So.
Okay. And didn't you work down at the library for some
Oh yeah,
time?
that was after she became. I went to kindergarten. Yeah, I was working for there was a Sterling Lumber here in town, and it's not there anymore. But I just worked a few days a week, and she was the only one that didn't go to school because she was 4 years younger than the last one. They were all going to school, but she didn't. But we had a lady friend that when she started to go to kindergarten, she said, "Oh, I'll take care of Eleanor," and she had a son same age, so she says, "When you work, you can go to work." And then the thing was, I went to take a test with the county, and then they called me for an interview. He came to the library in Morgan Hill, and then after a while he says, "You're hired, so let's set you start working." And it was in November of 1964, I think it was. Yeah. So.
And how long did you work for the library?
Well, they gave me credit for 24 and a half years. That was after the kids all got out of school, and so then, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my husband and I, after that, we took vacations because he was still healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your position with the library?
Well, I was a what do you call it? Not a page, but the next one was a clerk. And then I became the clerical supervisor. So then they sent me to Campbell for a whole year with a raise in pay and taking care of one of the ladies that had to not be able to work.
Okay.
So they told me 6 months, and then 6 months came and they said, "Can you work another 6 months?" So I traveled, and it's like way far out, from our place. If I was able to take a bus, I would have done that, but it would take me 3 hours to get there. So I drove over there for a whole year. It was nice, nice experience. Then I came back and I worked for a few more years and retired in 1988. And so I've been retired since 1989.
Very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how many children do you and your husband have?
4.
4 children?
1 son and 3 daughters. She's the last one, and she's taking good care of me now.
Do your children still live in Morgan Hill?
No. My oldest daughter lives in Las Vegas, and the second one lives in Torrance, California, south of LA. And they've been coming to help me take care of my son, So she's afraid that it's going to be too much for me. So they've come and they've been here. The first one was 2 weeks, and the second one's here for 2 weeks, and I'm learning how to do all that. He needs a lot of medical stuff that I'm not used to. So, but she does a good job.
It's good to have the family support.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, if you were here in 1945 things must have looked quite a bit different than
Oh,
they do now.
really? Yes.
Can you describe for us some of the changes you've seen?
Well, right now there's so many stop signs and so many houses, and it's just really grown a lot. But yeah, when we came, it was really hardly. We didn't have a lot of stoplights or stoplights to even get out of any place. But it was not. But then we got Monterey Road for a while. That was Blood Alley. It was bad until the 101 opened up. Yeah, it was. It started to get. As the years went by, we could see that it was growing.
And it was dangerous, right?
Dangerous, right? They used to have people get, at least not killed, but a lot of them got killed too. They used to take a chance and not live through it. But they got to working with the 101, and that really helped.
Now, do you have any feelings about the way Morgan Hill has developed? Do you resent the fact that it's grown so much and been developed over the years?
Well, we're living in a quiet area, so we don't think. But I think it's really, you go to a stop sign and you really have to wait for a long time. It's a small town.
Do you still consider Morgan Hill a small town?
No, not anymore.
No?
It's really spreading out. They got houses all over the place.
Yeah.
Those shopping places and stuff. They're just a whole lot of it. But that's the way it is, I guess. More people come moving over here too.
Progress.
Right.
So, okay. Do you have any feelings? Do you have any things that come to mind in terms of maybe a disappointment with Morgan Hill? Maybe you wish something had gone differently over the years?
Well, I don't think I have too much. I mean, it's the way life is. I mean, you're not happy with everything, but some of it you just have to. I don't think we had too many drastically bad things.
Okay. What about your biggest highlight that you associate with Morgan Hill?
Like what kind of thing would that be?
Personal, professional, anything you've seen?
Well, they've
Morgan
been good
Hill?
to me. Yeah, everything they've been. I know that librarian just came in and picked me out, and it's been going well since. What?
That was Citizen of the Year.
The what?
Your husband was Citizen of the Year.
Oh yes. My husband was the one. That's why I'm saying that when you say leaders, my husband did a lot with the kids, and so then he was picked the 4th Citizen of the Year for the city of Morgan Hill.
Oh really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
There was this fireman, Mr. What's his name? At my age, I just turned 84, and I can't remember half. But anyway, yeah, he's been helping out a lot. So he's the leader, is what I figure. No, he's helped a lot of people.
That was in 1984 when he received Citizen of the Year?
No, he received it in about 1961.
Oh wow.
He's got a nice little, thing.
And you still have that?
Oh yeah.
Very nice.
Still on the wall.
Do you remember why he received
because
it that particular
he used
year?
to help with the Boy Scouts and the baseball and swimming and all those things. He used to like to help out.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. I don't know. They picked him out. I don't have an article with his name on it.
So what was it like raising your family in Morgan Hill?
It was very nice.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thankful. We had all our children here and went to school here. Yeah, so it was a nice, quiet town, small town, which we liked.
And were you or your kids involved in extracurricular activities? Anything?
Yeah, she played the piano, so she used to play for the church, and she used to do sports. Huh? We used to get her. Yeah, and yeah, how many of you did that? Gee, Nancy did too, huh? Didn't she do something? Yeah, they all learned piano. I had them learn, not that they play it now so much, but yeah. And then what else was it? Swimming. Oh, swimming. They all swam. In this club. How often do you have to go? Early in the morning, many times, and my husband would go out and help if the other man was not there. But
who did they swim with? Was it with the high school or?
Well, she used to swim on the high school team.
Okay.
Yeah. Nancy too? No, Nancy never did. The what?
Okay.
So.
what would you consider some contributions that you or your family have made to the community? Obviously, you contributed in terms of your service as a librarian.
Well, you mean to what I have contributed?
Or your family?
Yeah. No, any kind of a thing that the Japanese group would do, we really, my husband and I really went out and helped.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like to go out, and we have a spring festival, which is a lot of work, and so we all pitched in and made it a success usually.
Is there an organization that you were affiliated with that
It's our
puts
senior
that
group.
on?
Yeah, it's a Morgan Hill. What is that? Church. Yes, it's the church group. There's not that's not all Buddhists there, but the people who live here and want to help, we just have a nice spring festival.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is at the Buddhist church, right? The
Yeah,
spring
we have a
festival.
little church here. It's not a it's an affiliated with the San Jose church, but we don't have enough reverends right now to have it every big thing, So we got to go over there for big ones, but
Okay.
yeah.
But there's still a very prominent Japanese community
Oh, yes.
in Morgan Hill, isn't
Yes,
there?
yes,
Yeah.
we have. And so right now there's all kinds of things that they can do. There's a senior group, and it's not a senior group. They have a service group that take care of when somebody dies and they need to have services made up. They do that. We weren't involved in that so much, but they sure helped us when my husband passed away. But we do help. He used to help whenever he was asked to help. So
When did your husband pass?
a year and a half ago, it was March 14th in 2009. Yeah, he had cancer. So yeah.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, I know. We miss him a lot because he was doing so well. But he did a lot, and he didn't suffer that much. Yeah, he.
Sounds like you had many years together, though.
Oh yes, which 5 days short of 60 years.
Oh my
And
goodness.
she had a big 60-year thing
Congratulations.
planned, and we just had to cancel that. But yeah, it was a nice life. He was a good husband and a good father.
Good. Now, do you still live in the same home
Yes.
that you purchased when you moved to Morgan Hill?
Yes, yes.
Yeah?
Uh-huh. She was born after that, so the year after the year that we moved in, we bought it in June, and she was born in December. So,
Okay.
yeah. So.
And have things changed around your home? Have you watched things sort of develop over time, and does it look different where you live, or has it stayed the same?
No, our place hasn't changed too much because it's not the newest, but we moved in '57.
Okay.
So then around our street, there's not too much change. But the next block over, they built a lot of new houses. It was built later, so. But we like where we are. Yeah.
Now, in terms of world events, things that affected the United States, the world entirely, we wanted to get an idea of how that affected you, or how you saw it affect the community here in Morgan Hill. World War II, I know you had a unique experience. What about, say, the Vietnam War? Do you remember how that affected Morgan Hill?
Well, I don't know. I noticed in San Jose, they get a lot of those people that are coming over here to and they're doing well. So I think that was good that they could, come here and make something of themselves, which they're the ones that are bright ones that come, I guess, because they do very, very well. But I don't know about the Vietnamese people. I think they've done all right. I don't think that that because they could come to America if they wanted to, and a lot of them are doing well. So
Okay. What about the assassination of President Kennedy? Do you remember that?
oh yes, I do.
Do you remember where you were?
Well, let's see. That was in 1960. No, not 60. 63? Oh yes. Okay then. Yes, it was a sad thing to see on TV with all that. But yeah, that was. I felt real bad about that. But then, gee whiz, I think we lost a good president. But
Do you remember how the community reacted? Do you remember if there was a general response in the community?
Not where we were.
Really?
They were all quiet, and I don't think they were happy about it. But you know, they didn't make a big thing of it. I mean, it's everybody knows that he's gone, and you know, it was too bad. But yeah. So other than that, it was too bad for those little children. I felt sorry for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Now, to get back to the agricultural aspects of Morgan Hill and your experiences there, when you and I had spoke on the phone initially, you had mentioned some canning facilities, some farmers, things that I was not familiar with. People my age probably have never seen or heard of. Can you elaborate a little bit on what used to be here in Morgan Hill?
Yes, we raise the berries, and then at first they're big and nice, you know, and then after a while they get to be smaller and it's not as good grade. Then Mr. Driscoll built a cannery here, and people would pick it, and they'd have to stem it, and then you know make it frozen. They had to freeze it to send places and make jam and stuff. I guess it was. Yeah. So there was that thing that people could get a job, and otherwise we could give people job picking, or sometimes we have to have them help us with the weeding of it and stuff, you know, because we don't always have enough help, and so then if we pay them, then they can have us helped.
So where was that facility at? That
it was
Mr.
in San
Driscoll?
Martin, you know, where there's a bend to go to San Martin from Morgan Hill. There's a big, right now it's still there, but they made it even bigger. My husband used to go over there for being the bookkeeper there, but you
Where
know,
at? On
you
which
know,
road?
on Monterey Road.
Okay.
You know the big buildings over there. That freezer was built inside there, and so I think it's still doing some kind of a thing because more bigger buildings are built going toward Gilroy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's that, you know, where it's just before you go straight to San Martin. There's a bend there. There's a little something that runs underneath the creek over there, something.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where he had that, and then somebody else. Well, other than that, most people had to do their own ranch, take care of their own section. You know, they give us 1 acre here, 1 acre here with different varieties that are growing and stuff.
So was that was that considered sharecropping?
Sharecropping.
So how did that process work?
It was okay. People worked hard. If you have a big family, you know, you don't have to hire so many people. And then they saved enough money to buy their own property, and then they raised their own, and so then they were making more money.
So this would be a situation where your family would meet with, say, the Driscolls or some other big landowner, and they would set up an arrangement for you to get an acre
he'll say he's going
so
to
much
be
land.
planting in so many acres, and then if they want to come and be one of the growers, then he'll provide a house and with the irrigating, and he'll have all that set up and stuff, so they can come, and that's how the people got back to on their feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would sharecrop, you would build up enough money to go buy your own land,
Right.
and then you would farm that. Okay.
So that's the way that worked out for us, and so. But once we moved into town, there were lots of Japanese moved over here, and so we have a lot of good people who care for the community, and they have a service that where they can help whenever people pass away or somebody's sick. They'll send stuff, you know. Yeah, so that's a good thing that they do.
Okay.
Yeah, they help them whenever they can. Anybody that's got a problem.
So you feel that there's a very strong community, sense of community here in
Yes.
Morgan Hill?
People say that you people do so many good things, you know, but we have good leaders, I guess, here. I don't know.
Good.
Or good helpers.
Can you maybe list 5 things for me that when you think of Morgan Hill, that's what comes to mind?
Well, for me, it's a nice, quiet town, and that's one. And you know, I liked the school system at that time when they went. See, they could walk to school from where we lived, you know. So they went to school, and they were, you know, they went every day. They didn't horse around, and so, and
As far as you know.
as far as we know, that's right. That's right.
She's not going to tell now.
But other than that, let's see, what else do I know about this town? That the people are all friendly. We didn't have had any hard feelings or anything. They didn't, you know. But of course, we were friendly too, I guess. I mean, they just really, we got a lot of good friends already, you know, right now. But that, and I don't know. It's better than a big city. Gosh, I don't mind going, but I don't want to live there.
Yeah.
So one more is it? What else would I? These are thrown at me. What else would I have, Haldor? Well,
Well, I think you summed it up pretty well.
yeah, and we live in a quiet area. Well, we like it there. And we're just below that hill there, you know.
Oh, below El Toro.
Yeah, El
Okay.
Toro. Yeah. So.
Now, can you contrast for me what downtown looked like when you first came to Morgan Hill compared to what it looks like now?
Oh my gosh, it was just a few, you know, just a short part of it was the shops and stuff, and so then you know it was fun to shop. My husband used to bring the of course she wasn't born then, but we had 3 children, and my husband used to go shopping because I had 3 children at home. Well, my friend that passed away, but she says, oh, she was helping at a store one time, and she says that, you know, that if he bought one thing, he bought one for 3 of the children that were home. Said not to just pick for one, you know. So she says, oh, he's a nice dad. But other than that, it was such a small town that, you know, you can come and shop and then just go home and not. Right now, there's so many places you could go, and it takes more time to shop.
It's a bit overwhelming now. Right?
Yeah, that's right. So.
Big difference. Now, you said your parents were from Hiroshima. Did your parents lose any family during the war?
No, it didn't hit theirs. They call it a little community. They got a lot of little towns in Hiroshima, and it didn't hit his relatives at all, and my mother either. So, but it was Hiroshima that they got blasted.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, we went by it, and I saw the one at Nagasaki, the other one that's where our tour guide took us. So we went there, but you know, you passed through Hiroshima. It's always built up when we went to Japan, but it was a you know, bad thing for, and a lot of people, not a lot, but some are still living that had been injured in that blast. But then anyway.
Okay. I think we're just about done. Went pretty quick. Go ahead, Dolores.
I have a question. Can we go back to your librarian days, or your days in the library? You mentioned you started, what year did you start? Because I need it for my write-up.
I think it was 1964. When you were in kindergarten, I forgot what year you started. When you were in kindergarten, then Mrs. Minami watched, you know, she said after school, her mother lived across the street from the school. So her son and he were great at the same time at the kindergarten. So she just let him walk over to the grandma's house, and then, you know, then my husband went to work early, so he got home. And then when he came home, then she can come to home too, so, yeah.
And when did you stop working? What year?
I stopped I worked the whole year of 1988, and my retirement started in 89, so it's 21 years now.
So what, besides the encouragement from your friend who said, go work, what prompted you to go work? Why do you think you were ready?
Well, I thought, well, when I start working, then I thought, well, I'm going to take a test for the county jobs, you know, and I didn't know which ones were going to come up. But then there was a thing, I don't know how I saw that, but anyway, they said that, you know, to fill a form, and so then they asked if I would be interested in a library job. So I tried, and when he interviewed me, then he says, well, you just go home, and then we'll let you know, you know. And then he called that day. He says that you're hired, so if you want to start. So I was lucky that way. They were very nice to me. So
Can you tell us any stories about your experience in the library? Any funny, something funny, something unusual?
Gee, that's what. No, I had a good time working there, but to remember some of the good things, and a lot of it was good. You know, yeah, they were. To come to think of something that was good. Well, there are a lot of good things, but it's hard to say. Yeah. What kind of things would?
You guys still meet every month for birthdays?
You made some.
Well, no, we retired people. I said, you know, when I first I was the first one that started it. I said to those that started to retire, I said, when, you know, let's have lunch once in a while on our birthdays is what it was. now we have about 10 people that come one time. But anyway, you know, to just meet together and talk, and so that we still do that now. Yeah.
That's
So
wonderful.
yeah, that was.
That's great.
It's yeah. That we that more people want to come, and we just go to Sweet Tomato.
Uh-huh.
Have the.
No wonder we can never get hold of her.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this woman is never
Socially
She's
active.
great. And
Yeah.
yes, she told me that.
And then other people want me to go to lunch too, so I'm just busy trying to.
Did you have contact with the public at the library?
Oh yes,
It-
yes.
any
I was the
stories
clerical. I was, and then one of the librarians says, "I'm going to send you to you know, college to become a librarian." Then I got sick, so I said no. I had 4 children already. See, so you know, I didn't want to neglect them, and I couldn't study with them. Being working for full time, you know, it was hard. So, but yeah, it was good. It was good for me, and you know, when I retired, I had a good life so far. 21 years. I been healthy. Yeah, I go to the Tai Chi thing, and once a week we do Tai Chi together. So.
And anything you can leave us with regarding reading? You know, how do we encourage our children to read?
Right.
Or-
They have a day of the week that they have children come to listen to stories, and that you know, they bring in children that they like to look at the books at the children's section, and you know, that they try to encourage children to get, you know, come in and look it around and stuff like that.
Did you
So.
do that with your children?
Well, they they were already going to school when I started, so yeah, they had studies, but yeah, they used to come once in a while, but they had they got good grades, so then, you know.
Did you bring
they
them
had-
books home from the library?
Yeah, well, not so much. Well, yeah, if it was a good selling book, you know, the latest bestsellers, so, but they had enough to do.
Anything else? Okay. I think
It-
we're all set. Yeah. Thank you very much for taking part in this. We
Oh, you're
appreciate it.
welcome. My goodness, that was not hard. But trying to remember, I'm sorry. It's
Remember something later, and then I'm going to give you my
Yeah, if
card,
something
and
else
you
comes
Right.
up.
call us. Because that
Absolutely.
will happen. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
you say, oh, I should have said.
You'll probably start chatting on the way.
Oh, I should have told her.
I'll do the same thing. I should have asked.
Maybe we should have asked. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll give you my card. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anything else that you want us, you know, you keep talking about your husband and what a wonderful man he was. Behind every wonderful man, there's a wonderful woman, right? Sometimes an even more wonderful woman. Yeah. So, yeah.
Though we had a good life, and
Yeah.
children are all like him, so yeah, so
All right.
can't ask for more, huh?
Yeah, you can't ask me. You have a wonderful attitude about life. I like that. Yeah. It's very calming and very accepting in a good way. Yeah.
So
Do you think that comes from your relationship with the Buddhist community? Your philosophy?
well, no, I don't know about that, but I mean, you know, some people don't care to come, and those that come are good. So, yeah, to me that's important. I mean, I never try to force anybody else into it, but to me, you know, it's want to do what's best, and
Is that what shapes your personal view?
I think
is
so.
A Buddhist background, Buddhist religion?
I think so.
It comes across
It
very
seems
strong,
very
very
yeah,
strongly.
so very accepting of life, of the world.